Murda Music. Murda Music, right? Took an L in the year 2024. Now, for anybody that's out there that's tapped into the Murda Music anagram, for anybody that's tapped into the Murda Music anagram, you know that it's either going up or it's going down. And if you really tapped in, if you really got your ears to the street, you'll know when it has the people under a complete spell, and when it's in its jubilee, and when it's going up, like when the stock is in its green candle, and you know when that shit is taking a dive and whatnot, because you know when the quote unquote appeal of certain artists begin to wear away, when the quote unquote spell that certain artists can have over people, when that spell begins to break, when it begins to wear away, when it begins to dissipate, right? I remember living in Atlanta, and Little Baby had a murder spell over the youth and whatnot, and the people that were listening to his music, like, they would do anything that he said. I remember when there was a time when Young Thug had a spell over Atlanta, and anything that he would tell them people to do, they would do it. I remember a time when Meek Mill had a super spell over the trenches in the hood, no matter where you was from, and whatever he said and whatever he was saying in those rhymes, people were trying to do it. They were trying to mimic it, and he had people in a headlock. I remember a time where Little Durk had the people in a headlock whenever he said and what he was instructing people to do with his Murda Music anagram. They were marching to the quote unquote flute that he was blowing and whatnot as the Pied Piper. They were marching to the drummer boy's drum. I remember a time when NBA Youngboy was telling dudes to go and kill, thrill kill, spin the block, run down, walk him down, and all of this stuff. And when he was at his heights, the murder rate was also at his heights. And the way that you could tell that the spell is thick is because the bodies be dropping. And the music that are made by these artists is called Murda Music. That is not the only music in their Mursick in their catalog. That's not the only music. When Vaughn was spinning and he had the murder rate going crazy, when Kodak had the murder rate going crazy, right? All of these artists that you see on this flyer right here all went through a decline, right? In the year 2024, all of their spells broke. Now, when I'm looking at these artists, all of them have different circumstances that interrupted the upward trajectory of their message and their energy and whatnot. They all encountered some type of quote unquote turbulence in their flight. You understand? They all had different interruptions and whatnot. Nonetheless, all of them have been interrupted. And when you interrupt, right, the harbingers of a certain type of frequency, when you interrupt the quote unquote trumpets from blowing and whatnot, when you interrupt the spell from being quote unquote broadcast, then that gives certain people the opportunity to wake up and to turn to something else, right? Because people are being bombarded by this frequency and this music, because they'll wake up from the spell that a Meek Mill might have them under, and then go pop up and hop on a spell from the new young nigga. So they not rocking with Baby, but they rocking with a new nigga out here. What's that little boy name? Baby Drill, right? They rocking with Baby Drill. You know what I'm talking about? So the rappers control the murder rate. You know what I'm talking about? When they make murder music and murder anthems. Yeah, Boozy as well. Boozy, one of the originators of the murder anthem and the murder anagram and murder music, what we would call deaf culture, right? So when we take an assessment of the business or the industry, right, this is a way where we could basically begin to measure if it's changing or not. So I'm here to let you know, okay, as a music connoisseur, as a musical critic, but somebody who's able to see different layers of this music game or this music business or this music industry, I'm letting you know that it has been quote unquote disrupted. Okay, this genre right here, there's many different genres that exist. There's many different genres, right?